story of exploitation, illness, and faith. The call continues.
You think that it's a fluke when you get sick. I step in and I come down. I come down there to Georgia where you at. I come down, you fold it up, and I say, we ain't accepting this. I am your father. But I'm your pastor, Lois. I'm both. I just am. I am the man that gets your healing. I'm the man that steps in and says, no, this will not go this way. When you fold it up, you don't even see me. I'm in the background. I'm in the background praying, telling God, that's my baby, God, that's my baby. She cannot leave this earth right now. She can't leave this earth. I need her. You understand what I'm saying?
When we were sick, we needed him. It became so apparent to me when I became very ill myself. When people were in a state of despair or weakness, he eagerly came to the rescue, but don't be too sick or too needy. Or his support would turn to jealousy, ridicule, exploitation, and eventually abandonment. This became a harsh reality for me when I suffered from a debilitating intestinal illness. At first, before things got really bad, he and the whole church rallied around me. He enjoyed gathering all the churchgoers together and praying over me. He didn't know that my condition would worsen and nearly kill me. It was fun at first that people felt sorry for him because his daughter was suffering. His songbird, his black butterfly, was down, and he enjoyed feeling needed. After a few months, my condition worsened, and prayers alone wouldn't fix it. I was missing more and more church. People became more and more concerned. Due to my sickness, I garnered too much attention. Churchgoers kept asking about me, and they would call out my name in prayer and send well wishes. My father became jealous. The focus shifted from him, and he didn't possess the power to heal me, essentially showing that he wasn't as omnipotent as he claimed to be. After months with no relief, he said, "Lois, you gotta pray harder." What does that even mean, I wondered. Did the hardness of my prayer have anything to do with it? Does God have a prayer hardness scale and he won't honor my prayers unless the prayers reach a certain weight? It's absurd to think God would play games when his child is sick, weakened, and in absolute despair. Why would I want to serve a God that would play such cruel games? Would he say, "Sorry, my child, but you didn't pray hard enough"? Essentially saying that I didn't beg hard enough. No, only my natural father would do that. I started getting sick in 2012 when I was in the military stationed at Fort Gordon, Georgia, after I divorced my third husband and biological father of my children. It was a contentious divorce, and we had a bitter fight over custody of our sons, and neither one of us was backing down. It was stressful to say the least, so I could understand why my body had reacted that way. When I thought about it, I got sick after the first 2 divorces too. There was a pattern. My father availed himself and insisted on helping me. He visited and prayed for me, researched and became somewhat knowledgeable about my illnesses, suggested I see multiple specialists, and try various medications and procedures. He was attentive and appeared concerned, but it was a ruse, an ulterior motive. He was only doing these acts of kindness in my time of need to win me over. He exploited my sickness to guilt me and the entire congregation into supporting the purchase of an additional church building. One day I came to church, and to my surprise, the back was cluttered with smelly old furniture and secondhand junk. During service, Pastor announced that he was converting the fellowship hall to a thrift store to gain revenue for the new church he wanted to purchase. I've seen pastors exercise their faith and experience success when the situation didn't appear favorable, but this was different. This was wrong in every way. Pastor had already established that everyone was to leave the church immediately after service. He essentially cut out all opportunities for us to fellowship with one another. Besides, he had already failed the other 3 times he opened a thrift store in the back of the church. Doesn't it clearly say in the Bible that God is against that? That was a scripture he conveniently never preached about. His motivation for wanting to have a large church ran deep. He viewed our family in Detroit as more successful than he. They preside over multiple churches, have large congregations, and they are leaders within their organizations. They're on television, they're famous, and they are influential in the church community. My father despised the small church and small congregation he had. He felt entitled to a large church, loyal congregants, and sole control of the church's resources. These entitlements led to uncontrolled desires that intensified as the years passed and became an unquenchable force within him. Pastor would brag about his lifestyle of abundance in his sermons, saying that he lives in a mansion, has multiple properties, and a yard full of cars. He lived a somewhat lavish, privileged, and entitled lifestyle, but he was not content. Getting rich, being famous, and living in overabundance became an obsession, and he saw the church as the way of getting there. He constantly preached that he wanted more, that God gave him a vision of a big church with thousands of members. He made all the financial and operational decisions without consulting the board of qualified, educated, and experienced members. He essentially rendered us ineffective, yet he obligated the members to give more to cover him. He didn't consider the impact these decisions would have on us, nor did he consider the negative financial, legal, and moral implications they could have on the church as a whole. These moves weren't logical or reasonable, and they lacked forethought and proper planning. Gaining a new church became his sole focus, and he attacked his most faithful and loyal members who didn't agree. It became a source of contention in all his interactions with every non-compliant church member who he felt didn't support him. Pastor would express his disappointment while delivering sermons, leading prayers, conducting altar appeals, even during hospital visits. There were no boundaries, and I realized there were no limits to how far he'd go to get what he wanted.
It's me, Lois. I'm standing right there. I ain't never left your side, but every dang chance you get, you get mad with me. And you say I'm gone. Oh, you know, I'm gone. But that's not really kind of fair. We're blood. You're my baby, Lois. I don't care if you're 105, you're still my baby. You know what I mean? You're my Christian baby. You're not just a human being, you're my Christian angel. And you're needed. If you wasn't needed, I'd tell you, I'd let you go. I would just say, Lois, bye. I know how you are, Lois, bye-bye. You know what I mean? You come and go. You do whatever you need to do anyway, you know. But this thing right here, this thing is spiritual, Lois. This right here is a spiritual move against me. It's not you meaning to, but this right here.
I was just trying to get well. Meanwhile, Pastor was trying to build his empire. My body was attacking itself, so why would I let anybody else attack me, my father included? I think he's the reason I'm sick. Nothing else makes sense. I'm a certified counselor, so I know that childhood abuse and continued abuse will manifest itself in physical and mental illness if left unchecked. I am a walking, talking, breathing example of continued hidden abuse.
Daughter, Provoked. What happens when the one meant to guide your soul becomes its greatest harm? The pastor's daughter. Provoked dives fearlessly into the life of Delores Michelle Peters, uncovering the harrowing truths of a family ensnared by spiritual abuse. Through riveting accounts and raw recordings, Delores reveals her journey of breaking free from a narcissistic pastor father who betrayed his calling. Discover how she turned pain into power and a debilitating past into a compelling memoir for redemption, vindication, and justice. It's time to reclaim your voice and take the first step towards spiritual freedom. Order The Pastor's Daughter, Provoked today on Amazon, and embrace your path toward recovery.